I would say the first Olympic Games that I truly remember watching were the 2008 Olympics in Beijing. And I had just kind of gotten into triathlon. I was starting to compete a little bit and becoming aware of the international scene that existed. And I mean, being Canadian, we're always very proud of Simon Whitfield. And I remember watching that race and seeing him do so well. And it was just truly an inspiration to me as a Canadian, seeing another Canadian do so well. And I remember I was sitting on the trainer actually, just spinning away, watching the race. It was so exciting to just kind of experience that. And it's still a moment that is referenced so often in triathlon, and I'm really glad that I got to see it happening live. I mean, I think every triathlete, or most triathletes, kind of, especially if you start from a young age, you grow up wanting to go to the Olympics. I think that's kind of the pinnacle of what we do and of our careers. And so seeing a Canadian do so well in Beijing, and then knowing kind of what it meant, and I don't think I truly understood the impact of a medal for quite a few years, but just knowing that he had won a medal, and then over time understanding the time, the dedication, the commitment that took. It was really a cool moment, and I think it's what inspired me to kind of aim for the Olympics and to want to be a professional triathlete. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think for a lot of Canadians, especially Canadian triathletes, Simon is an Olympic hero, and watching that moment where he's running and he grabs his cap and he kind of sets his jaw and he decides that he's going to go for it and throws off his cap, I still think about that and it gives me shivers. And he's just been a great resource for me too over time, and seeing how the next few years evolved for him and how he kind of embraced his career and how he was so determined with what he did. It's really inspiring, and I think for me, honestly, I don't know if I could pick one particular Olympic hero. I think all the men and women that make it to the Olympics are truly inspiring, and I think being an athlete and understanding how much it takes to get there, anybody that makes it is just incredible to me. So it's always been my dream to go to the Olympics and to compete there, and I think it's kind of, you know, this bond that everyone shares, that when you reach the Olympics is, you know, how much it took to get there. Yeah, I would absolutely say kind of a bit of a mantra, or at least a lesson that I've tried to embrace myself, is to trust myself. And especially as I've evolved throughout my career, it's something that I've ignored in the past, just the signs that either your body or your mind is giving you. And the more that I mature into this sport, I learn how much I actually need to trust myself. And when it gets really hard, when you're super tired, just trusting yourself and knowing that the signs that your body or mind is giving you are real, and accepting that goes such a long way. And I think it applies to all areas of life in terms of balance, my career, my friendships, my family. Just trusting myself and my own instincts has been really, really important for me. It means so much for me that the relay is part of the Olympic schedule, and I think as the team, our Canadian team it's very young, and I'd say it's really exciting to see what we can do, because we've already been, I believe, 5th twice at the World Championships, so we have the potential to, you know, even be, depending on how the race dynamics go, we could be competing for a medal at the Olympics if everybody is on their game. So I think that's super exciting. Another thing that is really important to me is that it means that we have 2 men and 2 women going to the Olympics. And I think the more Canadians we can get there for triathlon is just extremely important to me. The team aspect is so cool, getting to compete alongside these people that I've known for almost 10 years. And for all of us to be at the Olympics together, doing this event together, would just be absolutely incredible. Okay, I do have to have a disclaimer here. So obviously, Canadian team, because we're going to win in Tokyo anyways. No, I'm just trying to think of who my team would be here. I'm trying to think of who the best lead female would be. Okay, so I have to be in there. I don't know if I'd pick myself. Okay, I think You know what, I'm just gonna go with the team that nobody can argue with, because that'll be the most simple and I will hurt the least people. Okay, Katie Zaferis is gonna lead out for me because she's Katie Zaferis, and she was #1 in the world for a reason. Number 2, this is a hard one. I'm trying to think of what male I would pick. Maybe one of the Norwegians, because they've got heart, you know, they're just willing to go for it. I don't know which one, because they're all cool. I'd go 3rd, because I just like being in that position, rolling through, staying strong on the bike. I think I can be just in there in the mix, keep the team in. And then I'd have to pick Vince to go 4th, because he's got the clutch gene, and I think he could just wrap it up for the team. I would say I'm a little bit scatterbrained. I'm a little bit all over the place, and I think for me, I have just embraced the fact that I like to be laughing and having fun and enjoying it, and that's how I truly do well. I would say I kind of get in the mindset to race in the days leading up to the race with a bit of time to myself, talking to my family, my friends, my training partners, and just kind of feeling whole and just feeling calm. And then before I line up on the start line, I just like to joke around and kind of release tension as much as I can for myself and for others. And yeah, I just kind of center in, and I think the preparation that I put into every race is always something I reflect on as I'm lining up to go. And more than anything, I think I'm always trying to calm myself and center myself and think of just breathing and really just thinking one step ahead. I never think too far ahead. It's just one step in front of me every time I stand up on the line. Goodness, well, I think the Olympic Games changes absolutely everything. It's a race that comes around once every 4 years. It's a pretty magical experience. I'm going to do absolutely everything I can to enjoy every second of it, because I think no matter what, you never know how many times you're going to get to line up on a start line, and further, you never know how many times you're going to line up on an Olympic start line. So I think for me, same kind of process I go into every race with, but more than anything, just thinking about taking everything in and enjoying the moment. Yeah, I think as a triathlete, and I feel it's quite common amongst triathletes, is that we kind of feel like we can do everything. So you're just taking on different things and probably taking on too much often. And that's something that I've really had to accept, is that I can't take everything on and I can't do every race. And I do have to give myself a break and give myself time to collect myself between competitions. And I think that's the biggest thing that I learned last year after trying to do the entire WTS circuit, is just that I do get run down. I'm human and I need time to give myself a break. And that's been the biggest thing that I've learned, is just having those weeks in between where you can build good foundation and go into a race focused and excited. That definition for me has changed multiple times over the last year, over the last week, over the last month. And I think it's hard as someone who wants to achieve a lot of things to really accept that when you have accomplished something, because I think every time you reach a rung in the ladder, you just look at the next one and you look at the next one, and it never feels like sometimes it can feel like you don't get anywhere. But for me, success, the definition that I try to embrace is just being comfortable with myself, being happy, making people around me happy, and I think just existing in a world where you feel okay with everything that you do, and you can just accept where you are and where you're going and live in the moment as much as possible. One thing you don't know about Joanna Brown is that I'm actually afraid of flying in airplanes, which is not all that useful for triathlon because we go everywhere. People will just have to come ask me what they don't know about me, and I might tell them.